One of my favorite PowerPoint features got a slight new look in PowerPoint 2013, the Selection Pane. Now, unfortunately, the Selection Pane is still buried in the ribbon, and unless you know it's there, well, it's a little hard to find. You can view your Selection Pane by going to the Home tab and all the way over to the Drawing group. In the Drawing group, you should see a button that says Arrange. Clicking on that will reveal a submenu, and at the very bottom of that submenu, there it is, Selection Pane. Clicking on that will open up a pane to the right-hand side that displays all of the objects you have on that slide. Now, what's really great about this is that you can rename the objects to make them a little bit more meaningful, and if you are applying a lot of animations, it does help in the animation pane to distinguish what is what. So just to show you that, let's try renaming some of these. So right here I've got that swipe arrow. I'm just going to rename that swipe arrow. And over here, picture 2, well, what's that? Well, if I select it and still can't tell what exactly is selected on the slide, notice there's this little eyeball icon all the way to the right. That is a show hide icon, very much like what you find in Photoshop. Clicking on that will make that object disappear, and you can click it again to make it reappear. So again, obviously that picture 2 is a picture of that tablet. So I'm going to name that object tablet. And now I have all of my objects named, so I know exactly what is what on the slide. And again, as I mentioned, all of these names will show up in that animation pane. So playing an animation, I know exactly what's going to happen when, just at a glance. So for obvious reasons, I really love using the Selection Pane. In fact, most of the time I just leave it open. But sometimes, as you saw just then, having two panes side by side doesn't give you a lot of working room. So I usually like to have this Selection Pane toggle button right on my quick access toolbar. And the easiest way to add that is to jump back to that Home tab, back to that Arrange button, and right-click right on top of Selection Pane and just click the Add to Quick Access Toolbar button. And now it's just like a toggle. Click it to hide it, click it to turn it on. Another use for the Selection Pane, besides selecting and distinguishing between objects on a slide, is to use that pane to change the Z order of an object. So right now, with hand selected, I can click these arrows off to the right-hand side to send an object backward. And you can see that object moving down the pane as I click, or moving it forward. So clicking it multiple times will bring it up one at a time. You can also click and drag to rearrange the order of objects on a slide. And for group objects, you can see this little tiny arrow next to hand. Well, if I click on that, it will expand to show me all of the parts of that grouped object. And there are a lot. There's a lot. So most of the time for really complicated drawn objects, well, I usually have my groups collapsed. So those are some of the ways that you can use and navigate the Selection Pane, and I really hope you find it as useful as I do.